the intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
You're probably wondering, what is chaos technology? I know a lot of you have been talking about it and asking about it. And look, a lot of things have come into the month here in this brand new horizon of Star Trek Fleet Command, where we actually got more quality of life updates than new features. But one of the new features, and arguably the main new feature, is chaos tech. I use the quotations because, well, I'm not trying to be mean to Scopely, but it's basically a copy and paste of forbidden technology. But there are differences, and I wanted to discuss what those differences are. Now, if you open up your ship screen menu, you can see both the chaos tech and the forbidden tech. So if I pick a ship that doesn't have either, you see we've got our normal little pink icon for our forbidden and a yellow or gold one for chaos. So if you click it at the very top, you'll see we have the ability to swap between each different type. So here are the 4 chaos techs that we have coming out here with the Q Continuum Part 1. And then, of course, we have a long list, and a lot of us are still waiting to unlock a lot of the forbidden techs. But how are they different, and what exactly are they? So let's actually let Scopely explain that for themselves with the article they wrote right here, Chaos Tech, a new way to engage. So Star Trek is about many things, such as exploration, holding ourselves to a higher standard, and pushing the limits of our knowledge. So Chaos Tech is meant to take what is already existing feature in the game, like FTs, but expand on that and maybe even provide different types of bonuses. So that's where Chaos Tech comes in. Let's read about the first one, which is the Q Cannon. That's the big epic one. And for anybody who's into PvP, that's one of the ones that they're kind of, I guess you could call it, pushing early on. Defensive countermeasures against players. Each time the opponent scores a critical hit, reduce their base weapons damage by 200% for 2 rounds, and this will stack. You also have the critical damage reduction, and finally the weapons enhancement. Now if we go back to the other screen, we can actually take a look at the amounts quite easily. I actually love that they have this for all of them. You can just, click the little info button and say max it out, or check what tier if you want to see what they can do. But here are your max levels. If you are one of those players, maybe a light spender, or somebody who is willing to buy a random item here and there, I like to look at things like tier 5, because that's an easy place for whether you're free to play or pay to play to get to tier 5. Usually not having to spend a lot, usually isn't costing a lot in terms of your upgrade materials. So you see, that's what you get here is the critical chance reduction, the base critical hit damage, and increasing your weapons damage. That's what it's going to give you in conjunction with your other PvP bonuses. Now, the main difference here I want to point out before we hop back to the other screen is with these, we've known and we've come to kind of like fear the failure chance here of Q and his favor or lack thereof if you're failing. Because as you can see with the time crystal here, well, I can have a big and lose everything I'm trying to invest into. Well, the benefit of the Chaos Tech is it doesn't have that same liability or fear. You just simply need to have the materials needed to do the upgrade. So back over to the Scopely text, the holy text of Scopely. There you go. Here's our Star Trek Fleet Command holy text. So the Q Cannon functions excellently alongside PvP focused forbidden tech. What it's basically saying here, I'll go ahead and translate it for you STFCers. This is made to go right next to your Tantalus Field. Tantalus Field, Q Cannon. That's what they're envisioning you having with PvP arenas, with incursions, etc. Any PvP tandem match, that's what they're wanting. There's also the Temporal Conduit. Hull breach infliction at the start of each round against hostiles or armadas. 85% chance to give a hull breach. Why is that important? Simple answer. That frees up a slot, whether it's above deck with Gorkon or Lorca or below deck with Belana Torres. You've now freed up a very important spot on your ship to then give you more. I mean, this allows you to do more. Loot boost, increasing loot destroyed for Xindi Reptile or Xindi Aquatics, as well as Apex Barrier when going against Xindi Reptile or Xindi Aquatics. What does that mean? Well, I'll be honest. I don't know how much that's actually needed for a lot of players, especially since we talk about the cheese crews all the time. And the cheese crews, in my opinion, are a fantastic way for players, whether you're a spender or free to play, to kind of go above and beyond what you're normally used to doing. If you're curious what I'm referring to, not to kind of change the topic of this video, but real quick back to my presets here, you can see NX01 Cheese Crew 2 and then NX01 Cheese Crew 1. So like between these two crews, I don't really need a chaos technology, but it is available there for those who want to partake. So anyway, back to the other screen. Now again, this isn't saying that any of these are bad, just how much will you need them. You have a rare, now this is the one that you get in the battle pass if you purchase the November battle pass here, 2024. This one gives you Isolated Cascade at the start of each round when fighting non-Armada hostiles, increasing Isolated Cascade for 3. And then you see bottom 2, Texas hostiles. Now, let me tell you an application that I do think this could be useful for you out there. Everybody's always wondering, well, why does that matter? Well, if you're a Battle Pass user, here's the main thing that comes to my mind when I think about this, and that's using it for the ships that I'm trying to level up. You know, we always put the Monavie out into Texas class systems to auto grind. Well, I also like doing that with G4 and above ships that aren't the Monavie, like whether it's the Valdor, a Pylon, Tribune, even in G5, a Sanctus, a Sompek, or whatever, using those systems to auto grind in to get the ship XP instead of having to manually do it. Leave it out overnight, let it grind. And yes, Scopely, this is going to be my opportunity to give you a quick reminder. Remove the hostile daily cap between all the new loops, all the auto grinding, everything you asked us to do. Remove that stupid cap. It ain't stopping botters, and it sure as heck ain't helping players. Remove it. All right, there's my mini tangent out the way, but I can see that being valuable to players if you go through the Battle Pass and you're saying, hey, what would I even use this for? That's what comes to my mind immediately, making it easier for you to auto grind those ships, making it to where you can hit bigger ones, etc. And again, this is the one that is available in the Battle Pass if you purchased it. So right here, it is in the track number 2. And if you click it, see it. There you go. So you get Syndic XP and the loot if you purchase the Battle Pass. So normally rare things in this game are $50. This time you're getting it for $20. If you see that's valuable, fine. I'm not telling you to buy anything. That's not my job. You decide if you think it's valuable. Then you finally have a rare thing to me, a common in this game. I'm assuming, speaking it out, a free-to-play path to this common will come in the near future. Just have to wait and see on that. If all of y'all are paying attention, maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. But you would assume this makes its way to everybody. At the start of each round, when fighting non-Armada hostiles, gain 100 Apex Barrier for 5 rounds. It is stackable, and that does help out a little, as well as increasing loot, which I like that one. So in terms of general usage, this is a pretty easy one to throw on just about whatever you want. And then here is the upgrade process. To use and upgrade the ship equipment, you'll need the following materials: fusion rods, protomatter, tear-up cats, reactors. Sound familiar? It should, because that's literally a copy and paste of the exact way to do it with Forbidden technology. Not trying to be mean, not trying to be a hater. It's quite literally the same thing. Just now it's called Chaos. That's it. I mean, it's fine. It's whatever. The following materials used, exactly the same. See, they're even saying it themselves, y'all. Chaos Tech Fusion Rods, unlock the slots. Protomatter, upgrade the level. Tier up Catalyst, every 5 levels to tier it up and get your tech better. And finally, their tech reactors used in leveling or tiering actions. Exactly the same. Embrace the chaos. With this new equipment type, all sorts of new crew and equipment combinations for your ships are possible. Keep on tinkering and push the limits of your knowledge. Starship Fleet Command. So again, the main things that this is going to help or provide, I think, to a lot of the players is, for me, replacing things like giving the hull breach and not needing an officer to do it. How much are these actually needed? The only one I feel like is quote unquote needed is if you're one of those players out there that is absolutely a die-hard PvPer, wants to have the absolute latest meta, greatest, best thing, put it right over there next to your PvP one on your best PvP ship. So if you're ECO Cat, the player we interviewed, y'all saw with James Bond, the big level 70 who has everything. Well, his 160 billion power Borg cube will have a Tantalus field and then a Q cannon on the side of it. But if you're like me, sometimes it's just good to know how this works for whenever you end up getting it. And I'm curious to know what you all thought. If you are excited about this feature, if you're indifferent, I'll be honest, with everything else coming in this month, I'm indifferent. I don't think these are bad. And sure, I would like to have them, but I'm too busy being excited about things like the smart speed up to care and enjoying the archive. Can't wait to master some of these loops and get free stuff. Because remember, once you master the loop, you can click the button. It doesn't cost any currency, which is just, thank you, Scopely. That's like, you listened. It took forever, but dang it, you listened. I appreciate it. But anyway, that's how Chaos Tech works. It literally is very similar to Forbidden technologies, and you will see more of them rolling out in the near future. So that's how you upgrade them. That's how you use them. And that's it. Live long and plunder. Stay safe for the Space Cowboys. Deuces. That's me. Catch you on the next Star Trek Fleet Command video. Appreciate every single one of you. Love you. And I'll see you on the next one.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.